Serena saw it with her own eyes, her boyfriend Jason pinning that scholarship girl against the side of the dorm and kissing her. She turned away without a sound, thumbed her phone, and called the boy she'd grown up with. "Marry me. Right now, okay?" Inside the sterling penthouse, Alex slipped the sterling jade bracelet around her wrist while Jason pounded on the door like a man possessed. "Serena, listen to me." Alex brushed a kiss across her mouth and murmured to the corridor, "Behave. It's sterling to you." Before we go any further, smash that subscribe button and tell us in the comments where you're tuning in from. The screen went black just as the anonymously sent TikTok clip started its second loop. The footage was shaky, the street lamp smeared everything in syrupy, suggestive light. Beside the side door of the dorm, the side door she knew by heart, stood Jason, straight-backed, the silhouette Serena had loved for 3 solid years. Only tonight, his arms were locked around a different girl, a slip of a thing. It was Lily, quiet, scholarship Lily, whom Jason had mentioned again and again. "Life's rough for her, babe. We should help when we can." Serena's fingers had still carried the warmth of the black coffee she'd brewed to bring him. In a heartbeat the heat bled away, replaced by ice. On screen, Jason dipped his head, hungry yet tender, and kissed the girl. Lily rose on tiptoe, clumsy but eager, giving herself to it. The phone finally died, reflecting Serena's bloodless face like a dark mirror. There was no sudden ache, no screaming meltdown. The sharp pang lasted half a second before a deeper, colder numbness slid over it. She even felt ridiculous. Every dollar she'd saved to buy him gifts, every call she'd made to smooth his path, all of it had lost to a doe-eyed act of need. A low roll of thunder rattled the pane. The thunderstorm that had threatened all afternoon broke hard, slamming water against the glass. "Fine." She stood, left the umbrella on the chair, and glanced back at the door that might still be framing their little drama. Her stiletto sliced through puddles, soaking the hems of her jeans, but she didn't notice. Rain plastered her hair to her cheeks, painted her blouse to her skin, the chill only honed her clarity. When she reached the covered walkway, she pulled out the phone. The screen was a smear of droplets. She wiped it once, twice, got it unlocked. She ignored the flood of calls from Jason and scrolled to one contact labeled simply S. It rang once. A calm, steady male voice answered. "Serena?" Soft jazz lingered behind him, he was somewhere quiet. Serena drew a breath. Rain dripped from her ends. "Alex. I'm here. Marry me." A pause. "Right now, okay?" 2 seconds of silence, just a whisper of static. Then Alex answered, no questions, no shock, crisp as if he were initialing a pre-paragraph in a contract. "Send me the pin." She named the 5-star hotel 2 blocks away. "Sterling penthouse," he said over the downpour. "I'll be there in 20. The line clicked off. Serena stared into the gray wall of rain, wiped her face, water, maybe tears, and walked straight to the hotel. 20 minutes later, Sterling. The thick wool carpet swallowed every footfall, the air smelled of white tea and cedar. Serena had taken a scalding shower, swapped her soaked clothes for the silk robe the suite kept in the closet, cut surprisingly to her size. Her hair still dripped, her cheeks pale, yet every feeling had been pressed flat beneath a single word, done. The bell chimed. She opened the door. Alex stood in a midnight black suit, shoulders flecked with rain. His gaze swept her once, making sure she was intact, before he stepped inside. He carried a small velvet box. "You're sure?" he asked, voice low against the hush of luxury. Serena met his stare. "You're not going to ask why?" A faint smile tugged at his mouth, never reaching his eyes. "You'll tell me if you want to. All I need is a yes." "Yes." No hesitation. "Good." He opened the box. Inside lay the sterling jade bracelet, imperial green, glassy, glowing like liquid spring under the crystal chandeliers. For generations it had passed to the first wife of the sterling heir. He lifted her left hand. Her fingers trembled, ice cold. His palm was warm, steady, as he slid the living green circle over her knuckles, easing it home. It fit perfectly. The jade made her skin look lit from within and the faint red in her eyes more obvious. Cool at first, the stone quickly drank her body heat until it felt alive. Just then, rapid footsteps hammered the corridor, followed by fist-to-wood thunder. "Serena. I know you're in there. Open up, just let me explain." Jason's voice, hoarse, drenched, frantic. Serena's body locked, the color that had begun to seep back into her cheeks drained away. Alex felt the tremor run through her. His gaze flicked from the bracelet to her face, dark and depthless. The shouting went on, jumbled. "Serena, it's a mistake. I love you. Pick up, please, open the door." The pounding grew louder, reckless. Alex's eyes stayed calm. He cupped her cold cheek, thumb brushing the almost dried corner of her eye. Then he bent and claimed her mouth. Serena's eyes flared wide, her palms landed on his chest, but he banded an arm around her waist and hauled her close. The kiss wasn't harsh, slow, deliberate, absolute, parting her lips, tasting her, letting the door thud away in the background until the only sound was the soft clash of breath and need. It was a kiss that staked its claim, ruthless and final. Outside the door, Jason's hoarse shouts and fists became the soundtrack, warped, absurd. Only after a long moment did Alex peel himself away a fraction, lips still brushing hers, breath hot against her skin. He tilted his head toward the frantic silhouette on the other side of the paneled oak and spoke softly, yet every syllable sliced clean through the wood, lazy, mocking, 100% Victor. Good boy, he murmured, the laugh in high. S voice the same one you'd use on a toddler throwing tantrums. Say it, Sterling. Every last noise outside died. A silence like a graveyard. Serena could almost see Jason's face straining to chalk on the other side of that door. Alex turned back, dark days relocking on her gasping, trembling lashes, and bent to kiss her again. This time his mouth landed on the delicate ridge of her collarbone, leaving a faint, unmissable brand. A wax seal on a decree. The sterling blazed with light, opulent, warm. The heirloom jade around her wrist rested against her pulse, heavy, ancient, its centuries-old glow unchanged. Beyond the door, silence cracked into uneven footsteps that staggered away down the corridor, swallowed at last by the thick carpet. It felt as though an entire era collapsed behind her. And a new one, heady, relentless, tasting of Alex, was starting right there, branded onto her skin. The suite's heavy door had become an invisible border, severing two worlds for good. Each fading footstep out there sounded like a boot grinding the last shards of someone's pride into the weave, until even that was devoured, leaving no echo. Inside, crystal chandeliers poured luxurious halos, expensive perfume molecules drifted lazy as snow. Alex's lips still lingered on her collarbone, the tiny nip of heat and sting jerking Serena awake. Instinctively she lifted a hand, pressing against the hard wall of his chest. Not a rejection, more a reality check. Alex registered the featherlight push, lifted his head, eyes settling on her face. He didn't retreat, only gave her breathing room while keeping her caged in the circle of his arms. His gaze was too deep, too still, an abyss that showed no ripples from that possessive, almost brutal kiss minutes ago. Yet the ragged edge of his breathing betrayed the control he hadn't quite reclaimed. Serena's heart slammed against her ribs, heavy, chaotic. The jade sterling on her wrist had warmed from her skin, its weight reminded her none of this was a thunderstorm hallucination. She started, voice sandpaper rough, throat so tight it hurt. She wanted to ask, he just left, and was I insane, but the bracelet's gravity pressed every question back down. Alex seemed to read every unfinished sentence, every war inside her. He brushed a calloused thumb beneath her eye, no tears, only leftover rain and a faint red mark. Forget him, he doesn't matter, he said, voice low, unshakable. What you need now is rest. He let her go, crossed to the suite's bar, poured a glass of warm water, and placed it in her hand. Fluid, natural, like he'd done it 1,000 silent times before. Serena wrapped her fingers around the glass, warmth bled up her arm, chasing the marrow-deep chill. She sipped, the liquid soothing the raw rasp in her throat. Alex stood in front of her, watching, neither rushing to coddle her nor filling the air with hollow comfort. His mere presence felt like a mountain she could tether her storm-battered heart to for the night. When the glass was empty, he took it, set it aside. Fresh toiletries and pajamas are in the bathroom, he said, tone as casual as commenting on the weather. Closet has a few emergency outfits, see if they fit. Stay here tonight, tomorrow I'll have someone take you shopping for whatever else you want. He'd thought of everything. Serena studied his face, hunting for curiosity, calculation, even reluctance. She found none, only Alex, the boy who'd grown up beside her, always steadier, always 3 moves ahead. The difference, once he'd been the childhood friend, now, her fiancé? The word flashed in her mind, absurd and numb all at once. What about you? She asked. I've got the adjoining sterling, he answered, tilting his head toward the connecting wall. Need me, dial 0 for the concierge, or call my cell. He paused, added, no one will bother you. They both knew the someone he meant. Serena nodded, said nothing more. She did need solitude, time to shovel the rubble of her emotions in to some makeshift grave. Alex stepped out, the door clicked shut, the lock sliding home with velvet finality. Silence lunged at her, vast and complete. Outside, the thunderstorm still hurled sheets of rain against the glass, making the suite feel even quieter. She walked to the floor-to-ceiling window and looked down on the city being scoured clean. Neon bled into wet pavement, traffic was thin, cars drifting like fireflies under the storm. Hours ago she'd worried about another man's future, planning a life she'd believed unbreakable. Hours later she stood in the costliest penthouse in town, heirloom jade fastening her to a dynasty, bearing a title she'd never imagined, Sterling. Her phone lit up, no calls, just a torrent of unread texts and missed alerts, almost spilling off the screen. Most from Jason. Serena. Pick up, please. It's not what you think. You're the only one I love. Lindsay came on to me. I messed up once. Where are you? Tell me. Let's talk face to face. Alex? Why are you with him? Did he make a move? Come back, let's fix this, I can't lose you. The words were red-hot needles in her eyes. Did it hurt? Yes, 3 years can't be erased. But atop the ache sat something stronger, disgust. Especially when she watched him try to shove every bit of blame onto Lily. She could picture him right now, soaked in the thunderstorm, hair plastered to his forehead, using the same eyes that once held nothing but tender smiles for her to search for her in frantic regret, desperate to win her back. In the past that look had been her kryptonite, the instant he lowered his pride she melted. Now it only filled her with disgust. The devotion that used to make her heart race, the vulnerability she thought only she could see, today it felt like a filter had been stripped away, revealing the ugly truth underneath. Maybe he did love her, but he loved the status and resources she brought him even more, and he couldn't resist the cheap rush of another girl's starstruck worship either. She answered none of his texts. Her finger hovered over the screen for half a second, then she cleanly blocked the number. Instant silence. When it was done she lifted her wrist and studied the heirloom jade bracelet. Under the light it was translucent, glassy, impossibly green, weighty and precious, the kind of beauty only time can forge. Alex. He had materialized at the perfect moment, an airlift in a war zone. Yet she couldn't read him. Was he simply the childhood friend reaching out when she hit rock bottom, or was there another agenda? The Sterling family pool is deep and dark, and Alex is its undisputed ruler this generation. His marriage couldn't possibly be a spur-of-the-moment stunt, could it? Whatever his motive, she had chosen this road herself. The instant she saw Jason kiss Lily, the instant she rang Alex in the middle of that thunderstorm, she had severed every escape route. She drew a long breath, trying to shove down the swirl of doubts and the dull ache that refused to fade. She turned toward the bathroom. The hot water sluiced over her skin, but it couldn't wash away the chaotic montage in her head. Jason's kiss, Alex's kiss, one burning with betrayal, the other ice-cold with possession. That night Serena slept fitfully in the Sterling penthouse, tossed by surreal dreams, the bone-chilling rain outside her dorm, Alex's fathomless gaze. Morning came, the rain had stopped. A blade of sunlight slipped between the heavy drapes and laid a thin gold stripe across the carpet. She woke staring at the ornate ceiling, disoriented for a moment. The bracelet on her wrist assured her last night had been real. The doorbell chimed softly. She slipped on the robe and padded over. Outside stood a brisk, impeccably suited woman with a professional smile, flanked by 2 bellhops wheeling a breakfast cart and several clothing racks. Good morning, Serena. Alex asked us to bring breakfast and a change of clothes. I'm the floor manager, you can call me CA. Whatever you need, just let me know. The breakfast was delicate, the wardrobe a perfect match, every item, right down to the lingerie, cut to her taste and size. He even remembers my bra size, or did his people just research me down to the millimeter? She ate in silence, appetite gone, but forced down a few bites. The phone rang, an unknown number. She hesitated, then picked up. 2 seconds of silence, then Jason's hoarse, exhausted voice, Serena. Her heart lurched, then hardened. She hadn't thought he could find a new number so fast. Let's meet, just once, okay? At campus, the one you love. If I'm getting the death penalty, at least let me know why. Please. Serena looked out at the city washed clean by rain, the sun was almost brutal. Some words needed to be said face to face. A clean cut. 1 hour, she said and hung up. She didn't tell Alex. This was her battlefield, she would clear the debris herself. She chose a champagne-colored sheath from the rack, simple, knee-length, elegant. Twisting her hair into a loose knot, she exposed the faint bruise blooming on her collarbone. The mirror showed a pale face, but the eyes were calm, stripped of illusions. She grabbed her clutch, paused at the bracelet lying on the nightstand, then slid it back over her wrist. The deep green caught the morning light, glowing with a quiet, commanding luster. Half an hour later she walked into the familiar campus cafe. Morning traffic was light, sunlight poured through the windows onto the rawwood tables. The air smelled of fresh ground beans and buttery croissants. Jason was already in their old corner booth. He looked wrecked, hair uncombed, eyes bloodshot, stubble shadowing his jaw. Same shirt from yesterday, wrinkled and stained with rain and, she guessed, whiskey. The moment he spotted her his eyes sparked like a drowning man seeing driftwood. He shot up. Serena! The outburst turned heads. She crossed the room without expression, sat opposite him, set her purse aside, and ignored his gaze. The barista approached, she ordered a black coffee. Serena. His voice cracked, he knotted his fingers until the knuckles whitened. Yesterday. We're done, she cut in, voice flat, as if announcing someone else's weather. Jason, it's over. All color drained from his face. He shook his head violently. No. I made a mistake, I know I did. She came on to me, I was drunk, I swear, you're the only one I love. Same tired script. A humorless smile tugged at her lips. Really? You looked stone cold sober, and very into it, in the video. Jason choked, cheeks flushing sickly green. That's not. Serena, these 3 years, haven't I shown you how much I care? How can you say I love, she echoed, the word brittle. Your version of love is freeloading off what I bring to the table while soaking up cheap adoration on the side, right? That's not true. He lunged for her hand, she snatched it away before he made contact. His fingers froze in midair, the despair on his face deepening. It was her. It was Lily. She kept coming to me, crying about how hard her family had it, how tough life was for her, how much she admired me. I just felt sorry for her, I lost my head for a second. Serena, give me one more chance, just one. I swear I'll never speak to her again, enough. Serena's voice was still soft, but laced with a finality that brooked no argument. Jason, stop blaming your cheating on some girl. All that does is make me despise you even more. Her gaze dropped to his face, twisted with desperation, and she enunciated every word. We're done. Don't contact me again. Is it because of Alex? Jason seized on the name, voice turning shrill with resentment. You already had a backup ready? So he swooped in while I was out of the picture? Serena, you couldn't wait to jump into someone else's arms? 3 years together, and that's worth less than a Jason. Serena cut him off once more, her eyes finally cold with disgust. Don't paint yourself as some heartbro. Ken Saint, and don't assume everyone else is as cheap as you. You're the one who torched those 3 years. She stood, clutching her purse, refusing to linger another second. The waiter had just delivered her coffee, she left it untouched. Best wishes to you and Lily, may you two be miserable together. With that she turned to leave. Serena. Jason shot up so fast the table lurched, cups clattering. He lunged after her, raw panic on his face. You can't walk out. I won't let you. His voice died in his throat. His stare locked on her lifted wrist. The sterling heirloom bangle, liquid green jade catching the sunlight, gleamed with a gentle, almost blinding luster. And when she tilted her head, the faint cyan mark just above her collarbone peeked into view. Jason's expression shattered as if he'd taken a fist to the jaw. Disbelief and a hollow, gutted emptiness replaced every plea. He knew that bracelet. He'd once accompanied Serena to a high-end auction where Alex's mother wore a matching strand. The whispers around them said it was a sterling family piece passed down for generations, given only to the eldest son's wife. And that mark? You. His lips trembled, unable to finish. So last night's "marry me" right now wasn't rage or a joke. She had actually turned around and married someone else. While he'd begged her to stay, she'd already become sterling. Serena didn't spare his ashen face another glance. She shifted her purse, the jade slipping along her pale wrist, and walked out of campus with her back straight and unhurried steps. The sunlight hit hard, making her squint. She inhaled the clean, post-thunderstorm air, feeling the last knot of bitterness loosen and float away with the finality of the break. On the corner, a black Bentley waited. The rear window slid halfway down, revealing Alex's sharp profile. Bluetooth in place, he appeared to be closing a deal, yet his gaze tracked Serena the instant she stepped outside. Seeing her calm, almost icy composure, Atching her move to the curb as if to flag a cab, he wrapped up the call with a terse instruction. Then the door opened and he stepped out, heading straight for her. Sunlight cut across his tailored suit, sketching broad shoulders and a narrow waist, powerful but not aggressive. He stopped in front of her, glanced at the faint bruise near her collarbone, then at the splash of green on her wrist. "Finished?" he asked, voice unreadable. Serena met his eyes, the glare backlit him and she couldn't quite read his expression. She nodded. Alex offered his hand, palm up, fingers long and clean. Serena stared for a beat, then slid her hand into his. Warm, dry skin wrapped around her cooler fingers with steady, unforced certainty. "Let's go home," he said. No questions about the talk, no curiosity, like she'd only stepped out for a casual morning stroll. He led her to the Bentley, opened the door, palm hovering above the frame. She ducked inside, the leather seats breathed a faint luxury scent. Alex climbed in after, shutting the door. Quiet and spacious, the cabin felt like a sealed sanctuary. The driver eased into traffic. Serena watched the city blur, familiar cafes, the campus wall, tree-lined paths she and Jason once walked, all receding fast. Her life had already switched tracks. The jade rested against her skin, warm now. The man beside her radiated presence, crisp cedar curled gently around her. The future was thick fog, direction unknown. But right now, the hand holding hers was solid, steady. She squeezed a little tighter. Alex noticed, turned his head, his gaze remained deep, maybe a fraction softer than yesterday. Without a word he clasped her hand more firmly. The Bentley glided toward the city's glittering heart, the Sterling's domain. A marriage born of heartbreak and impulse, racing into the unknown. No one could see the destination. Yet the moment she'd turned away, retreat had ceased to exist. Thanks for listening to today's story. If you liked this video, hit like and share it with friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more gripping tales. See you next time.